Hello everyone. Can everyone hear me well? Are we live? Let's start this. Who's excited for it? I'm just waiting for a bit of chat feedback. Let us know if you can hear as well. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our actually first live stream for our sci-fi bundles. For those who aren't familiar with the format, and are familiar with me actually, my name is Tiago, I'm Loot Studios Community Manager, and I'm going to be presenting the full bundle to you guys. So the bundle went, the Saurian Native Diplomacy, or second sci-fi bundle, went live a couple of hours ago. If you haven't received it yet in your My Loot tab, don't worry. Sometimes it just takes a little bit for it to roll out for everyone, but you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it quite soon. So I'm gonna be showing you the miniatures, and today Robson, or 3D 3D team art. He's our 3D art lead, team lead, right, for the sci-fi bundles. He's gonna be the one doing some live sculpting, and it's actually going to be a little treat for you guys. We're not gonna do a sculpt from zero today, like we usually do with Alvaro. But we're gonna Hobson's gonna be sculpting the 3-month loyalty reward. You guys, a couple of people have been asking about it, how it's turning out, and I think it's turning out quite amazing. Can you say hi to everyone, Hobson?
Hello everyone, I'm Robson Barros. As Tiago says, I'm lead here at Loot Studios. I've been managing the team of the new Sci-Fi subscription, and it's been wonderful. I'm having a lot of fun with these guys. I have an amazing team of artists behind me, and it's been really rewarding seeing the community response on this new Sci-Fi subscription.
Yeah, we've been very excited about this, and I've been waiting all month to get to actually get my hands on some of these minis and get to show it to you guys. Maybe I'll steal one from the office and take it home. So Hudson's gonna be sculpting this guy, Grigori Belov, and his mecha, right? The Mark III Avalanche Walker. You're actually gonna be sculpting the mecha today, right?
Yes, the the mecha is here.
Who look at how nice that's starting out. Can you guys imagine this in statue size? Who
Mhm.
Yeah. So without further ado, let us begin. And as always, and just as a because people might ask why Alvaro or Marcia aren't here today. Also, Alvaro had to take a business trip, and Marcia, for those who aren't aware, who weren't here in the last live stream when I explained, she's still having some health issues, so she can't really sit for long periods of time to paint, like long painting sessions. So wish her well. She'll be back with us soon, hopefully. Uh, yeah, so let's start. And for starters, let's start with a couple of our heroes. And the first one is Bobby 4, or Android Hero. And this one was sculpted by Viktor Prado. And android cyborgs. What are those things, right? So androids are robots, like autonomous machines designed to simulate humans, right? To look and act like humans. Uh, but I think Bobby Four here could also work perfectly well as a cyborg character if you want to play him as one, especially for a game like Shadowrun or something, where you're doing like really, really heavy body modifications, right? Uh, yeah, so he would work really well for that. Uh, in the lore, like we're going in the lore we explained, we're going to it a little bit more. But Bobby 4 is like the fourth iteration, kind of the fourth life of this android. Every few years, the android kind of has to reinvent himself. They just kind of live for too long, and they need to find new purpose. So they kind of reinvent themselves and move on. And now, for the mini by Victor Prado, which let's just see here. It turned out amazing. So as always, we have the 32 millimeter version of the mini, the 75 millimeter version, and the bust version. Yeah, and Bobby 4 is really, really a badass, right? Look at this. Let me try to focus here so I can show all the details. And yeah, let me know if it's out of focus, guys. And I'm gonna turn him around a little bit, and like he's strapped for war, right? Androids are much stronger than your regular human. S would be like an augmented human, a cyborg. He has his weapon here. Oh, I'm I was in the way with my big fat face. He has his weapon here in the holster on his left thigh, and there's a. I think this mini, like a lot of you guys ask us for more dynamic poses, but a lot of people also ask for more minis with more relaxed stances. I think this mini is a really good balance for it, right? You can see like there is an idea of movement depicted in the actual sculpt. I think that's a bit of the actual concept art. And let me go back to here for just a second. The actual concept art has him in a much more relaxed position, right? But the sculpt actually has like his jacket kind of floating away from him as he moves to his right as he turns. right? So I think this is like a really good balance of a pose for a hero, right? It's not too busy or anything. And now let me go to the bust so we can really get into some of the nitty gritty details here. Let's see here. Yeah, Bobby has what I would call a strong chin. You do not want to punch his face, right? You might end up with a couple of broken fingers. More than a couple, more than likely. So this is Bobby 4, or Android Hero for this bundle. And Bobby is really cool because he's really, really versatile, right? A lot of different sci-fi settings have androids or robots or cyborgs or humans augmented in some way. So yeah, he's like really versatile in that way that he can fit into multiple kinds of scenarios. Uh, so yeah, uh, this is our first hero for the sci-fi bundle. And next up, we have an interesting one, to say the least. So the next one, and he's a male Tragmitis, and his is an insectoid species, and he's a sniper. Now let me just set things up here, and you might have noticed that I haven't actually said his name, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's really, really difficult to pronounce. So this hero's name is Drikchikt, but I'm guessing like the Tragmites are one of those species that have like a really, they have their own unique language that other humanoids have difficult to pronounce, kind of like the Wookiees in Star Wars, right? So I'm imagining Drick's actual name is something closer to or something like that, right? Uh, Let me get the bus here. And this is another one of Lut's, like we're doing a bit of original. Yeah, I'm trying to adjust the bus here, and you guys are gonna see why in just a second. This is another one of Lut's like new species, original species. We're going to be experimenting a lot with like original species that we might come back to for other characters or enemies in the future, so we can like really develop their lore and really get into it. So Drift is not an up close and personal kind of fighter. He's a sniper, and his wings give him the ability, like once a sniper's position has been detected, he's gotta move away fast, right? And he's gotta find another advantage point so he can take another shot. Uh, and most of the time, that takes a really long time. It's really bothersome. But if you have wings, you can just like flutter around, and that's what Drix does. So I'm gonna show you first the 75 and 30 millimeter version of him, and here we go. So there's a some of you guys may see it, right, like right on the corners of the screen here, the wings of the bust, and those wings are really big. They come separate in the models, so you can. A couple of people were asking when we released the concept art, will the wings be separate so we can print them with translucent press? And yes, the wings will be separate. And it's a really, really cool idea to do them as with translucent resin, right? Uh, yeah, so let me show you a little bit more detail here. Uh, so this is the 75 millimeter version. You can really see the detail here, and this is another one of those minis where we are trying to give uh, the illusion of flight, right? So he's still connected to the base, obviously, but there's like this fluidity and like his mid taking off, right? and you can see here like his compound eyes, his antenna, the proboscis or mandibles. I don't know. This is kind of your standard insectoid species for sci-fi, right? Now let me show you the bust. I think I'm gonna be able to show you guys a little bit more detail and like how. Let's see here. Yes, yes. And the wingspan is actually quite enormous. It's the reason why I didn't have it like up here with the other minis. You would just cover them up, right? Uh, but yes, look at this. Yeah, you guys love things with wings. Maybe we should do more winged characters, right? Of course, he has the adapted armor. The Dragmitis, as an insectoid species, they have an exoskeleton, right? So they already have really really thick skin. But especially for a sniper, right? Like protection is never too much protection, right? Let me put it up here so you guys can even compare the sizes of the 75 and bust. Yeah, so this is or Pragmitis Hero. And next up, we have our third and last hero for this bundle. And this one is Mogara Kawakami, the female Uquat, and she's a modern ninja. She's not actually human, although she may appear to be so. But you know, she's one of those species that is human adjacent. If you're used to stuff like Star Wars or Star Trek, we always have those kinds of races, right? Which are close enough to human that they can pass for human, maybe, but not. But they have like their own culture and their own belief system. And Mogawara she was an immigrant to Earth, and she grew up in New Tokyo, right? And you gotta ask yourself what happened with Tokyo 1 and what happened with Tokyo 2, right? Like, this is how far off in the future is this? And is it even that far off? Like, you gotta ask yourself those questions. So, you know, she's one of those. In the lore, she's not human, but you can absolutely use her miniature as a human character. She's definitely humanoid, and she's a bit more up close and personal than our last hero. So there's this tradition, right? This traditional Japanese culture mixing with the our sci-fi universe, and that gives you Mogawara. And you can absolutely, like, I can absolutely see myself using this as a street samurai for a Shadowrun. It would be just really really amazing to have a character like this with the energy blades and stuff like that. And let me bring this to the forefront a little bit more. Actually, let me pick her up and show it to you guys. And turn her around a little bit. And I'm gonna make a comment on this because she is a female character, right? And at Loot, we always strive to make like, we have a particular style, and people are always kind of praising us for doing female characters right. But I think it's just a product of our style and our art direction, and doing stuff that because when you're doing our realistic style, you have to do stuff that looks, you know, functional, that looks like it could be real, it could be in the real world. So yeah, here we go. I I think this in her back, maybe a backpack. Not a backpack, a jetpack, right? You can definitely use it as such. And before I forget, and I'm gonna go back to here in a little moment, Mogawara was sculpted by Diogo Colares. Let me get the bust here up front. So you guys can see the details, show a little bit more detail on her face, which I think it's, yeah, there we go. I think this another beautiful one. Yeah, so this is Mogawara. So these are our three heroes. Yeah, people are saying, yeah, you can absolutely use this for D&D as well. So we're going for a sci-fi feel, but we do provide the stat blocks for all the monsters in 5th edition D&D, especially because I think it's a really versatile edition of D&D, and it's kind of easy to get into. And yeah, Mogara can absolutely be a soul knife rogue, right? And let me just give credit where credit's due. David Scrams was the one that suggested this in chat. So yeah, absolutely, you can absolutely use this minis to play your regular game of D&D and just spice things up a little. And before I forget, I'm gonna go back to our last hero, and the sculptor for Drift was Uriel Menges. Just so I don't leave anyone behind, right? So, let me go back here just a second. Just before I forget, I'm gonna show you guys our last bust, and to do that, I'm gonna have to change the order here just a little bit. And this is another great one, you guys. And yeah, let me go to the concept art first. So this is the boss from this bundle. He's the Unaid Shaman. And the Shaman is actually kind of the Unaid actually are the race native to the planet we visit, the planet we are visiting in this bundle, on Renus, right? The Unaid are the reptilian race, the humanoid reptilian race native to this lush jungle planet. And a couple of people, when we released the concept art, were really latching on to the fantasy aspects of this bundle, because of course we mix a little bit of fantasy, like some of the best sci-fi. It's not like pure hardcore sci-fi. But I would like to point out like the little details that really make this bundle stand out, and really make the miniatures of this bundle stand out as actual sci-fi, right? It's the explorers going to a previously unknown planet, making first contact with a new civilization, meeting the natives that, and as I'm going to show you guys here in the sculpt, because I think it's a little bit clearer, the natives have strange powers and a strange connection to the land that has a very spiritual side to it. But when you dig into it, you find out, ooh, maybe this planet is not as natural as it should be. And I think the shaman here is a perfect example of that. And here is the shaman. So, as I said, the 32 millimeters, the 75 millimeters, and the bust version, which I'm gonna scooch it just a little bit so you guys can see the shield he's creating, using his magic item, the relic passed down through the generations of his tribe, right? I think the Unaid, maybe not now, but definitely at some time in their past were scavengers, and they are the remnants of a once great civilization, right? Isn't that another sci-fi trope? That have kind of lost their knowledge, but they still have access to uh, their frankly so advanced it looks like magic technology, and that's what his staff here is. And I think the sculpt, which is by Viktor Prado again, the same sculptor of before. I think the sculpt really shows it quite nicely here in the staff. And let me focus here.
It's like Arthur C. Clarke said, magic is the science that we don't understand.
Yeah, yeah. The more like really advanced science, like it's really hard to explain, right? If it's so advanced, like even right now in our society, there is technology that you don't know how it works, that you use, but you don't know how it works. And but you know it's technology and science, right? Imagine you didn't have that context. Let me show you the details here a little bit more. And the UNA they use like this combination of really natural materials in their clothing, right? But also there's just a couple of details that maybe are a little bit are a little bit higher tech than the technology they have access to right now, like the glove here or the staff, for instance. And I'm gonna use the bust to showcase this a little bit better. And again, like the work on the faces and the headdress, like the entire miniature. And here's what I was saying about his glove, right? And the staff, the head of this hammer staff thing. You don't want to get hit by it, and he's conjuring this energy shield that is not like it's not a perfect shield, right? And you can use this as just a representation of the shield, or you can say like the power source of the relic he's using is starting to fail. This could be a cool quest, right? You meet the Unaid, and maybe you trespass into a sacred land, but you can help them with their problem. Like you need to restore their power source that they don't really know how to fix. And as I said, there's this combination of a couple of parts that maybe have been scavenged from the ruins and their clothes, right? Right here. And here in the belt, you might notice this in a couple of other items and minis in the bundle as well. It's the symbol of their reptilian overlord gods, right? So yeah, we're dipping our toes into that and doing a whole new culture that we can explore and expand on later. Maybe later we'll do a hero from the Unaid, someone who has left the planet and is moving on to meet the rest of the cosmos now. Yeah. So next up, let me just go back here a little bit. And this one is one you guys have been expecting for a while now. People have been really excited about this one in particular, and I think I can guess why. And we have like a couple different versions of it. So first up, we have the Xenoliver. And who sculpted the Xenoliver, Robson?
Oh, this one? This was me.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to use so I can knock it down, man. Yeah, so Hobson was the sculptor of this particular mini. And it's kind of a stretch to call it a mini, really, especially like the 75 millimeter version. I don't know, man. And let me get it here. And this one, the Xenowyverns are kind of the. Let me. Oh, I need to change a couple of things in our setup here, so I'm able to show it in its full glory. Okay, so the Unaid they have like this really. It's a little bit like in Avatar, like the symbiotic relationship between the the natives of the planet and the beasts of the land, right? The Unaid have that with the Xenowyverns. And the Xeno, like a wyvern is it's a type of type of dragon-like creature, right? A wyvern is a creature in D&D, but we wanted to give it a real alien spin, right? And I think like the lack of the lack the lack of eyes, this creature relies in other senses. Maybe it sees like it has like receptors, right, in this in its skin, or in the head, this headdress thing that it has. And actually, let me jump to the miniature here because I think it's a really good. Yeah. So this is the Xeno Wyvern Rider, and you can see here like it doesn't have any eyes. It has like the breathing holes along its chest here, and it has a rider on it. And we actually have a couple different versions. I'm gonna use the 32mm version to showcase this. So we have the mounted version, and we have the unmounted version. And the way we did this is we just did the saddle and the rider a separate piece that you don't have to glue. You can print the Xeno Wyvern and then print the rider and then connect them as you see fit. Like right here, we didn't make the connection permanent, specifically to showcase this. And the rider, even though she's not in the Xenowyvern rider, like the main focus is the wyvern. But you can see here, like Robson really went to town with. Oh, let me actually get in camera. Let me get it in shot. Yeah, Robson really went to town with the actual rider, right?
Yes, we done a base mesh for the rider and all Unaid's, and then came out great. I think it was a team effort, and the other artists also input on the making of this tribe, this civilization, and we all developed this crazy and different identity.
Yeah, let me get it up here. Let's see if it should hold. I think it should hold there. Yeah, so this is the Xeno Wyvern Rider, and you guys, like every time we do a mounted creature, you guys ask for an unmounted version as well, so you can use it as is in your games. Here's not it's not flush because it's not a permanent attachment. I'm gonna just turn it around a little bit. Like it's so big, it's difficult to call this a miniature, right? And again, this one is another mini that we made it. We made it so it looked like it's taking off, right? It's gonna jump up off like, and you're gonna notice a couple of other creatures in this bundle like follow the same kind of biological principles of the Xeno Wyvern, which is one of those creatures that you really don't want to mess with in your if you're a player. And next up, because one version of it wasn't enough, right? We had to do a young Xenowyvern. Yeah, I almost dropped a mini here. Like every live stream, I always do, or almost do. And let me just set up here. Yeah, this is another one. Okay, so the young Xenowyvern is perched atop a rock, right? And It's the ruin of a long lost civilization of the Unaid, or maybe the creators of the Unaid. We haven't actually decided those history details yet, and there's some fun in living it up for you guys to figure it out. And it's really, really fun to participate in the process of creating this. So Gribo created the lore behind the civilization, and then the concept art. And for the sci-fi bundles, the concept artist is Alberto Saraiva. The concept artist gives like his take on that lore, does like a little bit of research and gives his take, and then the sculptors really bring it to life. And the last step in that process is actually you guys. So when you guys paint it and give it life and use it in your games, you are completing that process and creating like the final chapter of the story. And without further ado, here is the young Xenoliver. And size-wise, he's not that much smaller than the Xenoliver that is with the rider, but I think he's just less mature maybe. Let me turn him around a little bit here. Yeah, so you can actually even use them in different situations. Is another thing you guys ask us to do more of, do more variation with the same character. But this one is it's kind of a character in its own, and I don't remember now if I mentioned it, but this one was also sculpted by Robson.
Yes. We also thought like the birds when the female is have a little bit smaller, a little bit more elegant lines, and we try to differentiate this one by those thoughts, by those characteristics.
Yeah, let me put them side by side here so you guys can make a little bit of a comparison. Right. So here they are. Yeah. Like your players don't want to see this. Like this one is the 32mm version, right? So I'm gonna pull Bobby 4 here just for a size comparison. So this you would use with this, right? That's the idea. But if it's me and I really wanna freak my players out, I would use this with those guys, right? It just seems kind of right. The great thing about reptile creatures and like stuff like dragons and dinosaurs is like the scale. You can really go to town in the scale, and it's still gonna look great, and it's gonna be like really scary for your players. Yeah, so David Dixon is asking about the eyes. Does it fly by echolocation? He's not saying eyes. So that's something we kind of leave for you guys to decide. I believe. Let me just check the stat blocks to make sure I'm not saying anything wrong here. Just a second. Yeah, but they don't have eyes, but they have other ways to see. Uh, yeah, so they detect things differently, right? They don't have like eyes as light receptors, but they can like their entire head. You can consider it as an eye and an ear, and like it's they get a lot of sensory input, and ooh, actually, let me do the next one here. So they have other ways to see. It's the lore we're going with, and there's just this kind of similarity in a couple of the creatures that is not coincidental. Uh, all of these creatures were born in the same planet. They have like similar characteristics, right? And one of those things. Let me get the next one here. So, the next creature we have is the Gorosaur, which is just a great name. We have to give credit where credit is due to Gribble on this one. The Gorosaur, like you don't want to face a Gorosaur in a fight, right? It's not going to do nice things to you. Like, come on, and I mean, look at the concept art. Look at its face. So, the Gorosaur is kind of is this very feral creature that is worshipped by the Unaid, and it's and it, the Unaid consider it like the pinnacle. If they could turn into a Gorosaur, they would. They consider it like the pinnacle of evolution. The Gorosaur is the closest thing they have that it's similar to one of their gods. So the Gorosaur is kind of a demigod, right? It's like a mystical figure. They give it like all the significance. But it's also like it has been obviously it's a creature that has been messed with. Let's say it has like all these metallic attachments, uh, and like it's obviously for an outsider, for someone that comes from the United Milky Way, right? As our heroes do. This creature has obviously been tampered with. And let's see the sculpt now by Uriel Menges. So yeah, the Gorosaur is just a nasty bruiser, and he'll beat you up and eat you up. And there's a lot of work that went into this bundle, that went into the skin of the creatures, like the leathery hide that they have, right, Robson, and like and especially for the reptile creatures, the Unaid and the Gorosaur, like you can see like the muscle kind of rippling underneath the skin.
Yes,
And
this one. This
yeah.
one was actually sculpted by Daniel Sanchez.
Oh, this one was. Oh, sorry. I think. Yeah, this was sculpted by Daniel Sanchez. I marked down the wrong one here. Sorry about that, folks. But that's why Robson is here, to correct me in these situations. Yeah, so the Gorosaur, like, you can really see like the muscle like kind of rippling under the skin, like ready to strike, and he also doesn't have any eyes, but he has like this thing on top of his head, like it's maybe a defunct control mechanism. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, and it kind of makes that role, right. It makes him look a little bit like a Cyclops, like just this really monstrous thing, and this unnatural thing, but that since the ancient civilization fell, right, it has found its place in this wild savage planet, and it's a planet of beasts and dangers, and the Gorosaur fits right in. So that's the Gorosaur. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see a couple more Unaid. The Unaid are the next one we have is the Unaid Fighter. And let me just see here. Yeah, I have him in the box here to the side. And now it's probably time for me to start like putting a couple of these minis away. It's a lot of minis, you guys. It's hard to. Let's see here. Yeah, let's set things up here. So here's the thing about the Unaid. They are not they are a strong and proud race, but they are not that strong compared with the other things they have to share the planet with. things like the Gorosaur or the Xenoliver, or even a couple of the other miniatures I'm going to show you right after this. So they don't usually rely on brute strength to like clubber their prey down, uh, the beasts, right, that they have to deal with. But what they do use is poison. So that's why they have like this this really jagged blades. They coat it with poison, and you can see right there in his belt buckle again. You can see the symbol of their gods again, and yeah, it's really really nasty to be hit by one of these weapons. They don't need to deal a lot of like slashing or piercing damage or anything. They just need to scratch you, and then you're gonna have to deal with the poison. And here is the sculpt, and this one is by UDL Manges. I think I just did a little bit of confusion there. So this is the Unaid Fighter, and
This
yeah,
this Unaid Fighter, his weapon, you can see, is very similar to the Makuahuti. Is a Asian Aztec wood sword.
yeah, I think I remember that one. Like I've seen pictures of some of them that are in museums and like reconstructions, obviously, right? Where sometimes they use stuff like obsidian or flint or stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's actually like a really really effective weapon. Like sharpened rock is no joke against flesh. But the Unaid are not like fighting other humanoids most of the time. They are fighting giant creatures that are much bigger and much stronger than them. So that's why the poison, and that's why their weapons are so jagged. And their clothes as well, like are spiked, right? And I believe this like there's a bit of a tree bark texture there, right, Hobson? And
Yes.
they are using like everything they can to their advantage to make themselves look as unappetizing as possible, right? Like, don't eat me, I will hurt you even as you're chewing me. And again, like this Unaid is grinning, like yeah, he's really kind of happy to be there. And in this bundle, right, in this sci-fi bundle, he's not the hero, right? But if you want to use him for one of your D&D campaigns, I think he would fit, and all of the unit actually would fit really well as ooh, the Yuan-Ti from D&D, the snake people, right? They just have that kind of reptile feel with them. So yeah, they could fit right in there. So you know, one man's enemy is another man's hero.
Yes.
So this is the fighter. Let me change it now to the next one. And the next one is the Unaid Archer. Let me get it from here real quick. So the Unaid Archer, again, using that concept of the of staying away from much bigger enemies and taking them down in one shot. That's what the archer does. That's what her role is, to poison the prey, and then you can just and then the rest of the I had goofed up there, and then the rest of the tribe can just follow it until the poison does its job and takes care of the beast, and then you have dinner. Uh, with all the poison they are using, I would give I would maybe give the UNA like poison resistance. Actually, let's see here. Yeah, for all the poison they're using, maybe a UNA character, if you decide to use one of these as one of your characters for a D&D game or something, I would give it like poison resistance or something. With the amount of poison they handle and deal with, like natural selection would eventually take care of all the Unaid who are not being very careful or that don't have like a high constitution, right? And here is the sculpt. And this sculpt is by João Comaceto, and I think João was he just he just typed in chat. Yeah, the best mini out of them all. Yeah. So the let me bring up the 75mm a little bit closer so you guys can see. So yeah, she has like this really intricate bow, and I don't think the Rangers Rangers in D&D kind of get the short end of the stick, right? For a long time at least they did. Yeah, Rangers need some love. Archers need some love in D&D. Ooh, we should probably create like an item description for like this bow. Maybe it's not just a bow. Maybe it has like some special characteristics to it. Maybe it was made with parts also scavenged from the same place the shaman scavenged his staff, right? And again, like a lot of these miniatures, and it's something I've been forgetting to mention. We know a lot of you guys are painters, and we've been hearing feedback about like doing a little bit more, varying things up a little bit, right? And a lot of these miniatures have a lot of different textures that you can use on them. So you have like cloth and wood and metal and stone, and you can use all of that, and like a different kind of skin. I really want to see the painter's take on the Unaid skin. Like, how are you guys gonna go about it? If you're gonna go for a more human-like skin, or if you're gonna go full-on lizard people, right? I really want to see how that turns out, especially with their really cool hair, which is something I haven't mentioned yet. Like the Unaid have some really cool hair. Yeah, maybe I should let my hair grow out again. I don't know. Yeah. So this is the Archer by João Comaceto, and the next one we have, and yeah, this for the next one we're gonna get into a big one now. I'm gonna take things away from here just to open up some room, because the next one we have is and this is another one hard to pronounce. Ooh, let me get it into, yes, there we go. This is the Caphelesaurus, or Caphelesaurus. Yeah, you guys help us figure out how to actually pronounce these names. Sometimes we create a name and it looks like really good, but then on the day of the live stream we're like, how do we say this again? Because they are sci-fi names. They're supposed to be hard to pronounce, but sometimes I think we go a little overboard on them. Yeah, here we go. Let me bring this up here. Yeah. So the Caphelesaurus is not. He's a herbivore, right? He's obviously inspired by like real dinosaurs, and this is like a big herbivore. But it's one of those ones that like anything this big you don't want to mess with, right? Especially if you're not big enough to take it down. Don't try. You're just gonna end up hurting yourself. And the sculpt by Joe Colares turned out like really amazing. And so he has two defense mechanisms, right? He has his huge size, which is like the one of the best defense mechanisms you can have. If you're the biggest kid in the playground, probably nobody's messing with you. But he also has the spikes along his back. So the only creatures that could like feasibly get to him, which are flyers like the Xenolivers, have that to deal with, right? They can't just it's really hard to penetrate this shell. So this is a bit of a fusion of a Brontosaurus and an Ankylosaur, Brontosaur and Ankylosaur, right? I'm not sure how to say those names in English. So Brontosaur and Ankylosaur. So like with the hard shell on their backs, and again, it's really hard to call these things minis, right? I'm gonna use a Unaid Shaman for size comparison here. So these two are 32 millimeters, and this is the 75 millimeter miniature. But honestly, again, you can use the 75 with the 32, and it would make complete sense. So, yeah, people were just asking to see the humanoids next to it. I'm gonna put another mini next to it as well, so you guys can see like how massive the 75 millimeter is. So yeah, if we went any bigger than this, it would probably be really difficult to actually get it printed. And dinosaurs are a thing that a lot of people have been asking for a while, right? People want to play stuff like Tomb of Annihilation and stuff like that. Uh, Dinosaurs in D&D, or people who just want to have a dinosaur so they can polymorph themselves into it. Uh, the thing is, with loot, we don't just really want to do a bunch of dinosaurs. It would be fun to do, but it would be kind of easy, and it's not really the point of loot, right? We want to do like unique things, and the sci-fi bundle allows us to do stuff like this 6-limbed, actually like 7-limbed if you count the tail, the 7-limbed huge alien dinosaur, right? Which is way more badass than a regular brontosaur. But you can use the same stat block if you want. We provide you the stat block for the brontosaur, but you know, if your DM is being a little iffy about it, I don't know, you can use the same stat block and just look way cooler. I'm gonna it's kind of big, so it's kind of difficult to do, but I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit more detail on this big guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn him around a little bit. And then, yeah. Like, yeah, it's a really imposing dinosaur. And actually, we're gonna, if we could zoom in just a little bit, so you can see like the detail on the skin and the leather, like the wrinkles, right? Yeah, yeah, just beautiful work from the team as always.
Thank you. This one was have a little bit of my hand also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the you have your hand and your input in like everything, right? That's kind of like one of the benefits of being the lead of the 3D team.
Yes.
It's a lot of responsibility, but it's also I imagine it must be quite fun as well, right?
Yes. It's really cool. And also seeing the evolution of the artist. It's really cool. It's really cool too. And the consequences of our evolution is the clients have every time better and better minis.
Yeah. So the next one we have, and let me just get it here, is the Salamanderian. And the Salamanderian is kind of our take into a Velociraptor, but they're kind of actually worse than Velociraptors. And let me just get the minis here. Just a second. So they have that same. So they have that same feel, right? That the uh, what was it called? The Xeno Wyverns have. But their background it's a little bit different in the lore. So they start as amphibians, right? They're kind of like frogs. So they start as they start their lives in the water, and then eventually they grow and they grow limbs and they come out of the water and they start attacking things on land. They're kind of I wouldn't say social, but they are pack hunters, right? Uh, and whenever like a bigger predator shows up to feast on their kill, they can just run away to the water. But here's the thing about the salamanderians: they are not like, don't mess with them unless you can do it from a safe distance, because they are poisonous. If they are kind of like a poison dart frog, their skin is really poisonous. Even touching them can poison you, and any like melee attack can also make the skin release more poison. So yeah, they're not to be messed with. Let me just dark this up a little bit just so it matches the concept. Yeah, but these are kind of straight up loot stake on a raptor, right? Really dangerous creatures. And here is the sculpt by Yuri Sampu. Uh, and yeah, you can see like the same like aspects, like the breeding. Let me get you guys a close up of it here. The so the breathing holes along the neck and chest here. Uh, the the head is it's a little bit it's they're one of those creatures that do really well in the water, right? I imagine the frills under the back of the head and back here probably perk up so they have a little bit more control in the water. Uh, yeah, but these are kind of straight up raptors. So you can have like a bunch of them to harass your party and do stuff like flank them. Like they're fairly smart hunters. They may not be smart as beasts, but they are pretty savvy hunters. Yeah, let's see here. Yep, from what did the characters collect the poison? Probably from one of the salamanderians. Maybe they hunt the salamanderians down, or they or maybe they use the poison from plants. It's really up to you guys to decide. But I think the Unaid collecting the poison they use from something like a salamanderian, it's like the obvious path to go there. And let me just check. Whew, the next one is kind of a nasty one. Let me just get another table here. So this next one, they're not as big as the Cephalosaurus, uh, but they are probably way more dangerous for people in general, right? To get in trouble with the Cephalosaurus, the big Brontosaurus looking guy, you need to be looking for it, right? They are herbivores. But to get in trouble with this guy, you just kind of have to cross him, like pass by him. And this guy is the Glo Camilla Saurus, which is a bit of a misnomer. The on this creature, the living thing is not actually a dinosaur. So we have like all of these tentacles coming out, and like the thing going around its back and its tail. All of that, it's a fungus. It's a it's a it's a colony, right, of creatures. It's kind of like a mushroom, or like that fungus that takes over the nervous system of ants, right? That's the thing they based The Last of Us on, the clickers and all those infected. This creature is infected with a very very dangerous fungus that can take that can really take control of any creature's of any corpse, any creature's body, and just make it move around, which is really, really gross and really, really scary. Because, you can fight off a beast trying to bite you. It's kind of harder to fight a fungus that is trying to use you as compost, right? So here it is in all its horrendous glory, as sculpted by Daniel Sanchez. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead here, and like I'm gonna give you guys a proper close up in a little bit, but there are all like these growths and tentacles in the front, and the tail as well, and all the way through the back, right? And like it has just taken over this frankly corpse nervous system. There isn't much left of the original creature. And can you imagine something like this taking over a humanoid's body or something? Like, it would not be a pleasant experience. Or even something like this taking over the Cephalosaurus, the Brontosaurus guy. Yeah, it would not be pleasant. Like, any meeting with this, it wouldn't be like the scene in there's a scene in Jurassic Park where the I forget the name of the archaeologists, but they see the dinosaurs alive for the first time, and it's really really beautiful. Yeah, that's not happening with this guy. So let me give you guys a close up of all the nastiness. So if you could have the yeah, I think we're good there on the focus. Yeah. So you guys can see here, like there's the dinosaur skin and leather here, and the beautiful texture. But then there's a change here, and this is for D&D at least, fungi, yeah, fungi are considered to be plant creatures. Yeah, so this is a really, this would be a hard creature to classify for D&D. I think we went with plant, but undead would work as well. Oh, infected, I don't know. Monstrosity maybe. Ooh, you can go all sorts of different ways with this one. Yes, the Clickersaurus. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. This is the Saurus. And we're almost done now. We're just getting to the end here in a couple of minutes. And but we still have a lot of really special stuff to show to you guys. Uh, yeah, the next one we have is the Bat Monkeys. Oh, did I not mention I think I mentioned that Glo Camilla Saurus sculptor is Daniel Sanchez. If I didn't, I'm sorry. It's a horrifyingly beautiful creature. I may just put it in my pocket and take it home. So the next one is the bat monkeys, and let me find them here. I had them here somewhere. Let me just... Oh, I found them. So the bat monkeys are a very social creature, and you know it's our way of we love doing in all of our in whenever we can really. Whenever it fits the bundle, we like to do like the smaller creatures, like give them some love and give them some attention, and the bat monkeys are a perfect example of that. The let me just you guys are always asking us for more beasts, right? Like things to populate the worlds we are creating. And the bat monkeys are one of the ways we're doing that. They are nocturnal hunters, and their wings are really vestigial. They can't use it to glide or even or much less fly, to fly. But they are very agile, and their strength is in their social dynamics and groups, right? The their group strategy to get away from, like, to warn each other of danger and to get away from it, or to hunt down whatever they need to eat. And yeah, and here are them and their sculpt. Let me just try and match it. Yes, they're sculpted by Yuri Sampu. Let me just turn this here so it matches a little bit better the concept art. So, yeah, these are the bat monkeys. We have three of them here, but they can, but they are a bit of a swarm creature, right? A single one of them is not much trouble, but a bunch of them together can definitely be a lot of trouble. And as we did for our fantasy bundles, the for swarm creatures, you usually get like just a little block, like a base with a couple of them, or it's basically a base with a texture. But with the creatures that are like this, like multiple creatures in a single mini, you can really use the vertical space, right, and really take advantage of that. And there's a lot here. Let's get a little bit more of a close up here. Let's As I turn around, and then again, there's the even in this miniature, which is I wouldn't say simpler. It's a bit more. It's a beast creature, right? It's one of the animals in the bundle. But there's a lot of different textures here for you guys to experiment on. So there's of course fur and wood, but there's also the leather on their vestigial wings, right? Their teeth. There's a lot of really good stuff for painters here. And this is one of those trees, like really a really thorny tree, right? The Unaid probably get the bark they make their armor from one of these as well. So these are the bat monkeys. Yeah, fly, my biddies, fly. Uh, oh, I'm just not realizing. So, next up, as the last actual creature in this bundle, we have the snapping star plant. Let me get it here. Get it. And this is another big one. It's a little bit whew. How are you gonna showcase this? Yeah, I'll turn it around and it's gonna be fine to see. So the snapping star plant is a plant that developed in a world full, in a planet full of giant creatures where low-lying plants don't really have much chances of survival. They just get like stepped on, right? And they just get destroyed. Uh, so the snapping star plant, it bites back basically, and it devours things. And it's a plant that survives by making sure that the creatures that could destroy it, by being careless, fear it, right? So this is the snapping star plant, and I think the sculpt here, the concept art by Saraiva really like gives this idea of like this three-dimensional creature, right? Like it's not safe. You're not safe approaching it from any side, but the sculpt by João Comaceto takes that up to like takes that and turns it to 11, right? So actually, this back here is the 32 millimeter version, and this big one here is the 75 millimeter version. And again, let me put a character beside it. It's a little bit, Little Shop of Horrors, like, the plant just devouring that can devour an entire humanoid character. Yeah, you guys, you guys don't want, like, dying to a plant in D&D or any game. It's kind of humiliating, right? Dying to a lich is, it's cool. You make it a sacrifice to the group. To dying to a dragon, yeah, you got to fight a dragon. Failing your perception check and not noticing that there's a giant man-eating plant beside you and ready to devour you. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of a bummer, right? And let me just show you here. So on this side we have kind of like the bud. So the snapping star plant is kind of a flower, right? Has this kind of flowery feel to it. And on this side we have the bud, the closed bud, and you can kind of see it how the flower blooms here, right? And then it's just the inside of it is just a maw of death, right? I think Matt Mercer, the DM for Critical Role, he really likes to use the expression toothy maw. These are more like thorns than teeth, but I think the expression fits here perfectly, right? This plant has got a toothy maw. Okay, so next up, so that was this was the last creature we had for you guys today, but we still have like some really cool stuff, and I'm actually gonna start with a couple more plants, so we can keep this deadly plant, like alien plants train rolling. Give me just a second, you guys, so I can pick up the minis here. So let's see. I need to make sure I get them all. Yeah, so for this sci-fi bundle, in which we decided to visit a new and unexplored planet, an alien planet, we needed some alien vegetation. And if you're not using these miniatures for your sci-fi game, you can definitely use this like crazy alien vegetation for for another realm, like in D&D, like the Feywild, right, where life is abundant, and maybe it's too abundant, and there's some really weird stuff. Or if you just really want to give a specific place a different feel to it, uh, these are our takes in some trees, and all of the objects in this bundle were sculpted by. Actually, where's my pen? Oh, it's here. All of the objects in this bundle were sculpted by Anderson Pioli. Am I saying his name right, Robson?
I believe so.
Yeah. And here are the plants, and we have 6 different variations on them. And you can definitely, if you want to, you can definitely scale them up and down to create different versions of them. So yeah, a couple of these plants look less like traditional like earth plants, and look a little bit more like polyps growing under the ocean, right? Like sponges and things like that. Uh, Hobson, do you know like what were the uh, did you speak to Saraiva at all about the inspirations for these plants?
This one I don't, but I think the idea was the crazier the better.
Yeah, definitely. Like for an alien planet that where life developed in a different way, where not all creatures have eyes, for instance. I think it's really important to have plant life that reflects that, and that something like this, which your players like sit this and go, oh, is that thing gonna shoot us? Like it looks like it's gonna shoot us full of poisonous
Yes.
spikes or something. Uh, yeah, you need vegetation that looks beautiful and otherworldly, and kind of like a little bit like fungal life, right? Because fungi are generally already otherworldly. But you also need things that looks like dangerous and uninviting. And I think we got all those bases covered here. Let me-
Yes, maybe one of those plants is where the Unaid made his armors.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, so yeah, these are the 6 plans we came up with for the 6 trees, right? We came up with for the bundle, and you can definitely like scale them up and down. The same thing with the snapping star plant, and really create this like really weird environment. I think these are gonna be great for diorama making as well. Okay, so we let me just get them out here. I have a couple of minis here that I want to show to you guys, which are kind of the UNA artifacts. Thank you. Uh, and let me, before we get to the last piece, right? So these are like UNA artifacts, and some of this stuff may have been sculpted by the UNAs themselves. Like there's obviously the symbology, right? The kind of reptile god symbology, the reptile with the forked tongue and 4 eyes. Uh, or maybe those things are like remnants of a previous civilization, or either of the UNAs themselves, or of the creator race. Ooh, who knows? But it's just a little bit of something to build a little bit more on their lore and civilization. And here we have them. So we have the temple, and we have like the whole language here, going the runes going down the steps here. Uh, these things always uh, like you use this to put one of the characters in a place of prominence, right? Yeah, he fits right there. Yeah, to really elevate uh, something. It's not just steps to get somewhere. It's the symbolic part of it. Uh, Here we have. I think this is one of like the. This is one of the. We tend to do a chest every bundle or almost every bundle, like something to have treasure or something your players and your player characters can take home. And this chest, I think it's one of my favorites. It's so cool. It's so there's like this ancient look to it, but also kind of this alien look. And if you turn it all the way around, there's a bit of there's something back here. Maybe it's a gear or something. Like it just gives a hint of something more going on, right? On this stone chest. And right up here, yeah, you can see. Yeah, let me just make sure I show it without having my whole ugly mug in front of it. Uh, so you know, there are these gears here. Like there's just a hint of a little bit of something more going on, right? And here we have the floating crystal, and oh, for the life of me, I can't really remember. Let me check the the name you gave to this specific bundle, to this specific item, the Saurian crystal, which is this floating crystal, and right underneath it here, you have this, which could be interpreted as a liquid or as just energy. This is kind of a floating crystal above a well of energy. Maybe this, and this is definitely like something that has been left over from a previous civilization. The Unaid are not advanced enough to come up with this kind of technology, and that's kind of the feel we're going for. Like technology is so advanced that to this people look like magic, and even to our explorers, like some of the stuff that's happening on this planet is kind of beyond our understanding, right? So that's the kind of feel we're going for. Uh, and finally, and actually, before I show the last one, I'm gonna show you guys the drop pods. So we had in the concept art a couple of different versions of the drop pods as well. Let's put them here. So we have like a crashed drop pod and an intact one with the door open, but we also have like a closed door drop pod, and it's just a little bit of variation in an object. Maybe that's where your characters start, right? Maybe the like a big explosion just happened, and your characters are lost in this savage and dangerous planet, and these are the escape pods they use to get there. Uh, and yeah, we have a couple of different versions of them, three in fact, and they are meant to look a little bit different than the technology and the stuff that you and I are using, because this is like United Milky Way technology is the technology the heroes are using, so it's more it's a little more blocky, right? It's a little bit it's something more along those lines. Uh, yeah, and these are the drop pods. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this one in particular, and we kind of knew that people were gonna be really excited for it. But I'm gonna show you guys the concept art for it now. So in the concept art, we had a crashed ship, a crashed fighter of some sort, right? And you know, every time we do something like this, like the crashed or broken version of something, you guys ask us for the whole version of it. unfortunately for this one, because the 3D creating process, in the 3D creating process, you kind of have to break things first. Actually, you have to create things whole first before you can break them and mash them and like make them broken and destroyed. So this one was kind of easy to do, and you may have seen this already. We posted a video a couple of days ago, but I'm gonna show you guys first loot spaceship, right? And I'm gonna show you first the broken version of it. Uh, Again, all of the objects we do, we provide them in the 32mm scale. I'm actually gonna pick up one of the characters and put it on the side just for comparison. Here we go. This is the crashed version of the spaceship, right? And you know, it was one of those things like as soon as Saraiva delivered the concept art, Alvaro was like, yeah, we need to do the full ship as well. And so we did. But I just want to show like the incredible detail that went into the broken version. Like how the ship like kind of split apart here, right? And you can see you can actually see like the engine components. Yeah, and there are vines growing over it, and it's down in the muck, and it's a little bit like it's in rough shape. It is in a much rougher shape than Luke's X-wing, right? Let me pick up the full version now. So, this is the last mini for the day, so we can close it on a really high note. Let me shake things up here. This is the full spaceship. The first one of hopefully many to come. And as you can see, it's up to scale, everything matches. Yeah, people are really excited about this one. Again, all the objects, including the spaceship, were sculpted by Anderson Pioli. But yeah, I mean, it's space, it's sci-fi. You gotta get a couple of really cool space jets, right? Space fighters, because space dogfights are things in movie and media in general. So yeah, this is the ship, and actually, we didn't do anything like official, like an official form or something. But we put out a video a couple of days ago asking about like what should we name this ship? It can't just be named Spaceship, right? I think in the renders right now it is just named Spaceship, but we wanted to wait to announce the actual name of the spaceship. So we put out a couple of posts in our community. You may have seen it. You may have given your suggestion. And I'm sorry if I don't remember now who suggested it, but a lot of people suggested a couple of similar things. And then we took all of the suggestions and did like an internal vote here at Loot, and maybe we'll make it open to the public next. But this is the Sky Looter. So this is our first spaceship, the Sky Looter. I'm gonna pick it up now and turn it around a little bit just so you guys can see more detail. And I'm gonna tilt it so you guys can see like the cockpit and the engines. Yeah. This is one of those things designed to be fast, not comfortable. It's more of an X-wing than let's say a Millennium Falcon, right? But it does suit two people, so you can have some company during long space travel. But yeah, this is the Sky Looter. Let me tilt it up a different way just so you guys can see it. Actually, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the Sky Looter here in all its glory, so you guys can look at it. And I just wanted to go over a couple more things before we get to the Q&A session. A lot of people are already sending a lot of questions our way, but let me just check here what I should mention. Oh, okay. So, Robson is sculpting our next. It's not the next. I don't think it's the next loyalty reward coming out, but it's gonna be the first loyalty reward for our Sci-Fi subscription, right? So, if you don't know how our loyalty reward system works, every 2 months that you are subscribed, if you have like the consecutive months, right? If you own the consecutive months, every 3 months we have a loyalty reward, which is a special sculpt like that is highly detailed, something like really cool that we're doing now. We are now doing in 3 scales: 32mm scales, 75, and also statue scale. And statue scale is like 1/6 real life, right? 1/6 life size. And that's something that we have recently changed. So when we did, I believe it was Kugsog, the blind Cyclops, it was our loyalty reward for 6 months for our fantasy subscription. Alvaro actually wanted to do a 1/6 like really big statue, but there were a lot of limitations because we consider when we are creating all of our miniatures a relatively small print bed size, right? A relatively small print area that most people are going to be able to print in, if not everyone, right? It's basically like the print area of I think it's a Frozen Sonic Mini, which is like similar to the print area of an Anycubic Photon Mono, stuff like that, right? But when you get to like, and that works fine for 32 and 75mm scales. For the 75mm, sometimes we have a couple of issues, but you know, we make it work. But for the statue scale, they are so big, and we want to make them like the best way we possibly can. So we made the decision recently of changing the print area we are going to consider for the statue scale only. So the loyalty rewards are still going to come in 32, 75mm scales and statue scale. And for the 32 and 75, we are still going to cut them specifically for the smaller printers. But for the statue scales, we are going to cut them for a larger print area. It's a print area of 192 by 120 by 200 millimeters, which is the print area of like a Mono X or a larger format resin 3D printer. And that allows us to do that allows us to be a little more free in our creative process, right? Because we were kind of constrained by that print area in some ways, in which Alvaro was not happy with that. And I don't think anyone in the team was happy with that, because we were having to make creative decisions to limit ourselves and what we were going to do because of that print area. So that's it for the print area of the statue scales of anytime we say statue scale, we mean 1/6 real life size. And for the statue scale, we're going for bigger print areas now. So there's that. Also, and I'm gonna ask someone, probably Neto, to posted in chat now, so everyone can see it. We have, if you've been with us since last year, since October last year, you may have this miniature already. But we have a new. It's not a new one, but there's a free miniature coming back, and it's Ragged Graves. And actually, let me. Ooh, can you post?
Just a second, I'm searching for it in my Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get the link for it, and we're gonna post it on the chat. And Ragged Graves, the Gravedigger, it's available now for download, and you can get it, and it's free, and it's just a little gift from us to you from Loot. If you're a fantasy subscriber, you probably already have him. He's in the welcome pack for the fantasy subscriber. But if you are subscribed to Sci-Fi only, you can get Ragged Graves for free now, and it's gonna be posted in chat in like just a minute. Okay?
Just until the Halloween.
Oh yeah, and it's only going to be available until Halloween. So once November rolls up, Ragged Graves is gone, because once November rolls up, it's no longer Halloween. We have to get ready for Christmas, right? Because that's how it works. Okay, so Ragged Graves is available, and just a little bit more of just another detail. A couple of people have been asking us about the painting handle for Sci-Fi, because we have hexagonal bases for Sci-Fi. Oh, here it is. Let me show Ragged Graves here. So this is the Gravedigger, Ragged Graves. Isn't he awesome? Yeah, and just like everything else we do, he comes pre-sported in like 32 and 75 millimeters. And you can grab him right now by clicking the link that was posted. So, happy Halloween for you guys. One last little bit of taking care of. One last little bit of letting you guys know a couple of things here. So a couple of people, we have a painting handle, right? A Loot original painting handle, and it's available if you're a fantasy subscriber in the Welcome Pack 2.0. We don't have one yet for the Sci-Fi bundle, but we're going to. We just have to do a couple of updates to it, and we're going to release it for the Sci-Fi bundle as well. And when we do, we're going to make a post to let you guys know about it. We're probably going to send out an email to let you know. And we're going to, and it's going to be added to the welcome pack. Okay? So don't worry, the painting handle is coming. And because a lot of people have been asking about it. So it's coming. So, actually, let me just, I have to take a good hard look at what Robson has been able to sculpt so far, and let's just give it to him, people. The loyalty reward is looking awesome. Yeah, and it's gonna be, if you are subscribed to the Sci-Fi bundle, it's actually going to be available for you in time for Christmas, because it's September, October, November, December. Yeah, it's gonna be available for you guys until 16th of December, I believe. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a Loot Christmas present to you guys. So I've been talking for almost 2 hours now, but we do have time for some questions. So I know there are some questions in chat a little bit ago, and I'm gonna go back and look at them and see if I can catch them. But if you have any questions, just drop them in chat right now, and I'm gonna try to answer them as best as I can. So, okay, so people are asking, are we also going to get statue scale for Braum and Bufu and Kuksog? So Kuksog already has a statue scale, but I believe, but it's smaller than 1/6. It's something that we might come back to in the future, but we don't have any plans to right now. It's one of those things that we have. There are a lot of things happening here at Loot behind the curtains, and we are focusing on delivering you guys a better product and like evolving our service and bettering our service. And because of that, we really haven't had the time to go back and look at the stuff and do those updates. And we've been doing a lot of updates, actually. We've been improving a lot of stuff. And to go back and apply those improvements to everything, it actually takes like a long time. It's a big endeavor. So unfortunately, we don't have any plans to do it right now, but maybe in the future we'll go back to those characters and do something. Uh, Is there any plans to make actual sci-fi buildings similar to the Witch House that would be insane for Infinity and regular top table games? And regular tabletop games. Okay, this one's from Gabriel Dupuis. I don't know. Maybe if it's French, it's probably Dupuis. I don't know. My sister speaks French. I speak none of it. So, are there any plans to make sci-fi buildings similar to the Witch House? We have plans to make. I'm just gonna say this. I don't want to give anything away. It's gonna be some different stuff, some stuff that we can only really do in sci-fi. But yes, the answer is yes.
Nice.
Okay, from Muhammad, there's a section historic part of fantasy lore, but not for sci-fi. Will story option be added too? Yes, there's something. So we've been adding. So the lore for the bundles is created by Gribble, right? And we've been improving that magazine content over time, right? So we've been trying to add things and test things out, seeing what works, what doesn't, and how much that like what we need to do to make it happen. And we're working towards making that a more fixed part of the magazine. So yeah, you can. I'm gonna say yes. Muhammad. I'm gonna make a commitment with you right now. You can expect a little bit more history for the next sci-fi bundle. I'm gonna make sure we add a little bit of something there. Okay. Uh, let's see here. Other questions. When will this month's loot on files be available? They should already be available. If you don't have access to them, like, okay, so sometimes the system it takes a little bit to roll out, but the files have technically been available since almost 4 hours ago. So if you don't have access yet, you can get in touch with our support team. But I would urge you to wait at least like another half an hour or something. You should probably already have access to it. But get in touch with our support team if you really have an urge to print and don't have access to it yet, and they'll get back to you as fast as we can. The support email is support@loot-studios, loot-studios.com. Let's see here. What else do we have? If we see more vehicles or mechas in the Loot Sci-Fi, did you guys consider any modular weaponry options for those vehicles, mechas? Modularity is a thing a lot of people ask for. We switched to Lychee to do our supports, so that's going to allow us to do a little bit more to be a little bit more free with modularity and do a little bit more of that. But unfortunately, when we made the switch and when we launched the sci-fi bundle, actually, we already had like 3 months basically done. So the next month is actually already done. We're doing test prints now, I believe. We've already printed a lot of it. But when we launched the Sci-Fi bundle, a lot of it was already done. But for future months, possibly, it's gonna depend on the specific miniature and how the modularity actually fits into 3D printing, right? How those things are going to relate to each other. Yeah, people. John Luciano Robson is saying there is literally magic going on in Robson's frame. So yeah,
Thank
people
you.
people really like to watch it sculpt. Okay, Rodney Gull asks, are these more for resin or FDM printing? So here at Loot, we focused mostly on resin 3D printing, and the reason is the resin gives us like much higher quality, right? Much higher detail quality, and our specific style, which is a little bit more realistic, really needs high quality to shine. A lot of people actually print our miniatures, especially the terrain stuff. They print them in FDM, uh, but the supports we create, for instance, are made for resin 3D printing, and they would not work in FDM as well. Uh, let's see here. People are asking about the gravestones in the Ragged Graves picture. I think they are available in the White Apocalypse bundle. Yeah, I think it's the White Apocalypse bundle. It's last year's October bundle. Oh, it's Vampires Essential.
Vampires Essential. There are two of them.
Oh, okay. So there are two gravestones. One of them is in White Apocalypse, and one of them is in Vampires in Pen Shop. Okay, people are asking out. Holt Harper, I would really love to get a better view of sculpting going on here. Is there any chance of getting Hobson's feed uploaded by itself so I can see his tool usage? I think we're going to upload a cut of Hobson's view, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to upload a cut of just Hobson's window there. Let's see. Oh, Nick, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name, Nick Virsam, or Wirsam. Tiago, do you have a favorite miniature from this month's release? Okay, from this month's release, I'm gonna have to like separate them into like the enemies and the heroes. I think my favorite one from the heroes is actually the hero I can't pronounce the name is actually Drick, right? And it's just like it's just because he's so different, right? He really kind of screams sci-fi to me. And the wings, I can just imagine now people doing beautiful things with those wings. And for the actual bundle, it's really hard. Like for the enemies, who if I
I'm here, Tiago.
Yeah.
I'm here. Choose well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's really tempting to choose the shaman, but I'm gonna go with because it's just so striking. But I'm gonna go with the Xeno Wyverns because they're just so versatile and they're just so like, ooh, those are scary. Those would be
Good choice.
scary
Good choice.
Wyverns to fight. And I'm not just I'm not just brown nosing Hobson here. Uh, Muhammad is asking, will you guys make a community hero for the sci-fi bundles too? Okay, so we did the community hero thing for the fantasy bundles as a trial run, and it went really well. But as I said, we have a lot of we plan our bundles months in advance, so it's kind of hard to find a bundle to fit a miniature in. But I think it's a possibility. If we do it again, we're probably going to release. We're going to do something more official, and we're going to expand it. And we would probably do it in like December or something, or maybe November, at the earliest. Just to put a form out there so you guys can give us your ideas. Uh, I don't have a definitive answer for you yet, Mohammed, on if we're going to do it. But the last one worked out really, really well. So yeah, maybe. And it's gonna be a thing. It's not gonna be a thing that we do like every month. It's gonna be a thing that we do once in a while, right? Uh, wait. So João Comaceto is saying, wrong choice, Tiago. I'm turning this stream off. Please don't leave us, João. Uh, okay, so Nicholas Seidling is asking, do you intend to make set blocks for the spaceship and other future vehicles and machines and robots? We make the stat blocks for 5th edition D&D rules, right? And even in 5th edition, they haven't really figured out like the best way to do this. I have an inkling that they're going to do some spelljammer stuff, and I'd like to take a look at what they're going to do for that, just so I have a better idea of what's going on. But yeah, stat blocks for vehicles are definitely a thing that we can start looking at. Okay, so Marlon Kaleman. Is there any chance to have the alien creatures of Cthulhu mythos in sci-fi? Or it could be a separate bundle like the Vikings. So I actually put out a YouTube poll a couple of days ago asking just that. And if we were to do like Cthulhu mythos creatures, right? And like the Cthulhu mythos, there's a whole setting, and there's like that kind of that turn of the century 1880s to 1920s 1930s kind of feel to it, right? And if we were to do like Cthulhu mythos, right, we would probably do it as a separate launch, like we did with Journey to Valhalla, the Vikings. A lot of people seem to be really interested in it, but it's a project that we have to like work on and think about really hard. I think we could do like a couple. We can definitely do a couple of alien and alien races inspired by Cthulhu mythos. There's a lot of inspiration to draw from there, especially going for the more eldritch horror stuff, right? But if we did anything like that in sci-fi, it probably wouldn't be a full Cthulhu mythos bundle. We would have like a couple of things here and there spread out across a couple of bundles, and a Cthulhu mythos like full launch. I really want to do one of those. You guys like just really shout out what you guys want from us. like we are hearing you, okay? Uh, uh, okay, someone's asking who chose the ship's name. So the original idea came from a comment in the Facebook post that I did, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the name now, and it's gonna be a bit of a hassle to get it now. But it's that's where like we picked like we took all of the suggestions, and then we did like an internal vote, like what a first pass, like what strikes, what's the most striking thing here in the of these names, and then we got it down to like something like 10 names out of like 70 or something, or 80 or something crazy like that. We got it. Oh, actually, it was like 120 name suggestions. I remember now. And we got it down to like 10, and then we did an internal vote at Loot, and Skylander won. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back here just a little bit. We are over 2 hours of stream now, so we're getting to the end here. Let's just see here if I missed any like important questions. Nice things. Cool to see some bios on the website of the different sculptures. Yeah, Nick Viersen. It would be really cool to see some bios on the website of the different sculptors and artists who designed the models, or maybe like a featured artist of the month on Facebook. Yeah, we can do something like that. I think I'm definitely doing something like that on the Discord server. I'm going to edit there. We are changing the way we do the credits for the bundles now, so you should be able to see who sculpted which mini more easily without having to ask us. But I'm gonna do something in Discord with the links for the artist's ArtStation page or portfolio or something like that. It's just so you guys can follow them. But yeah, we can also. I think it's a really cool idea to do a monthly post with like the artist of the month, right? That would be really cool to do. Just a little bit of a profile.
Interview with Leandro Pavanelli. The next one is Robson, probably. You can ask him.
Yeah, Ned is reminding me here. We did you can go to our YouTube channel, and there's an interview with the current 3D team lead of the fantasy subscription, which is Leandro Pavanelli. So we have an interview with him there, and maybe we can do another interview with Robson as well, right, Robson? Are you up for it? Robson, you there? You hear me?
Oh, sorry, my microphone was muted. Yes, I'm game. I'm ready.
Nice, great. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of like suggestions here now. So I'm thinking, yeah, I think it's time we wrap it up with the beautiful sculpt. Hudson, can you give us like a good shot of the, yeah, there we go. Whew. Yeah, that's nice. A good shot of the mech. Yeah, so we're gonna sign off now, guys. It's been really fun doing the first sci-fi live stream with you guys. So thank you so much for sticking with us through the whole stream, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.